The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. And my name is Ron Juggett. Stop. There we go. Welcome back to our 2001 playoffs. The National League Championship Series resumes today on this 25th day of September 2023. It'll be Game 3. It's the first of our 3 at Wrigley Field, and if all goes well, we will be through Game 5 by Friday. So it's Game 3 today between Houston and Chicago. Game 3 between the Fightin' A's and the Mariners from Oakland tomorrow night, 8:30. And then I think we're going to try to do a doubleheader. Got to make sure I have enough caffeine to do that to get us to the Game 4s, and then Thursday and Friday, respectively, the Game 5s. And so as we get this series heads to Chicago, it is a rainy night in the Windy City, and the wind is blowing toward the lake, left or right at 19 miles an hour. Shane Reynolds gets the call for Houston. Jason Beret gets the call for the Cubs. Houston won Game 1. The Cubs won Game 2. Be interesting to see what happens right now in Game 3, because really, although Houston won that division by 10 games, there just isn't a clear-cut favorite. And I honestly don't know what's going to happen, and neither do you. And so with all that, it's time for Game 3 of our postseason series. As Retro Sports Network presents the 2001 National League Championship Series today from Wrigley Field in Chicago. It is Game 3 between the Chicago Cubs and the Houston Astros. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. It is a cool evening here in Chicago, 53 degrees. And heavy wind, as we said, 19 miles an hour left to right, which I do believe is headed out towards the lake. Oh. Oh, I don't think so. Really choppy. Okay. It's not telling me much of anything here. I already had to throw someone out. Jason Beret pitched. Here we go. In one game, he pitched, I believe, the clincher against San Francisco in Game 3, a 9-2 win. No, not necessarily. He went 6 2/3 through 102 pitches, 3 hits, a run it was earned. He walked 2 and struck out 6. Jason is 30 years old, fastball at 92, and a fly ball plus pitcher. Don't need the stick. We are doing this in 4K, oh, by the way. Here's a lineup he'll face in game number 3. Julio Lugo, good morning, Bernie, is at short. He'll lead off. Craig Biggio at second will bat second. Jeff Bagwell will go third. He'll play first. How you doing, Mike from the truck? Lance Berkman cleans up in left. Richard Hidalgo, the Astros' go-to bat here in the postseason, in center will bat fifth. Moises Alou in right will go sixth. Vinny Castilla at third bats seventh. Brett Ausmus behind the plate will bat eighth. And Shane Reynolds on the hill for Houston will go ninth. Defensively for the Cubs, as I move the mouse into position, Rondell White, a 4 and a 3 in left. Michael Tucker, a 3 and a 3 in center. Sammy Sosa, a 6 and a 7 in right. Ron Coomer gets the call at third. He's a 3. Ricky Gutierrez at short is a 3. Eric Young is a 4 at second. Fred McGriff, a 4 at first. Todd Hundley behind the plate. He's an 8 with a ramen noodle arm of 1. And Jason Raspberry Beret, the kind you find on the second-hand store, is an 8 with a .964 fielding percentage. Julio Lugo in these playoffs is 7 for 26, a home run, and 7 RBI. And with all that, it's playoff baseball at Wrigley Field. Ground ball to first. McGriff to the bag. 1 out. for Craig Biggio, also 7 for 26. No home runs and 2 RBI. Beret deals, and there's a fly ball, shallow left center. Here comes Tucker, 2 out. For Bagwell, hitting .250, 6 for 24, a home run and 2 RBI. Pitch to Jeff. That's lined back up the middle. Tucker hasn't played perfectly, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. And as the Wrigley faithful start to cheer. Half an inning in the books, no score. Shane Reynolds. I hit the mouse. Shane Reynolds won his playoff start against the Marlins. He's 33, splitter at 83, and a ground ball pitcher. I believe he pitched game 3 or 4 against Florida, an 8-1 win. 7 innings, 85 pitches, 2 hits, a run it was earned. He walked a man and struck out 3. However, on the real year, he allowed 208 hits and 182 2/3. He should go about 105 pitches. Michael Tucker will lead off for the Cubs in center field. Ricky Gutierrez at short will bat second. Sammy Sosa, who had a breakout game in Game 2, is in right. He'll go third. Fred McGriff at first cleans up. Rondell White in left will bat fifth. Ron Coomer at third will bat sixth. Eric Young at second goes seventh. Todd Hundley behind the plate batting eighth. And Jason Beret had a hit in his game. He will bat ninth, and he also threw 15 of his 110 scheduled pitches in the top of the first. Astros defensively, a pretty good unit. Lance Berkman a 5 and a 5 in left. Richard Hidalgo a 7 and a 6 in center. Moises Alou a 2 and a 9 in right. Benny Castilla is a 5 at third. Julio Lugo a 7 at short. Craig Biggio a 3 at second. Jeff Bagwell a 6 at first. Brad Ausmus, one of the best in the business, a 10 and a 7 behind the plate. And Reynolds is a 7 with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Tucker, in the first 5 games of these playoffs, 5 for 15 with no home runs, a triple, and 3 RBI. And Tucker sends this one into right field. Alou, 1 out. For Ricky Gutierrez, who has a home run this playoff series, hitting 4 for 18 with 3 RBI. And as far as I know, Taylor Swift isn't dating anybody playing in this game. Gutierrez hits a ground ball to Lugo. Julio deep in the hole, throws to Bagwell for the out. So here's slamming Sammy Sosa. Again, he had that home run in Game 2. He's now 4 for 17 on the playoffs. Three for 8 on the NLCS, hitting .375 with that homer and 2 RBI. That is true. She was about 5 in 2001. Pitch to Sosa, lines this one to left. Berkman will make the grab, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. Houston and Chicago are scoreless. I don't think even J-Lo was dating anybody from this game. Although Lance Berkman, who's at .263, a homer, and 3 RBIs, thought about it. Berkman swings a ground ball to short. Gutierrez over to McGriff for the out, 1 away. Richard Hidalgo is 10 for 23. Most of that damage was against the Marlins. And the LCS, he's 1 for 7. And the LDS, he went 9 for 16. Andrew's daughter was 14 in 2001. 2001 was 22 years ago. Pitch to Hidalgo. Struck him out. 2-2 curveball. Got him. 2 away. First for Beret for Moises Alou. Overall on these playoffs, .375. No homers and 5 RBI. Has she forgiven you for being 14 yet? Pitch to Moises. There's a fly ball. Left center field. Tucker, fighting the wind, will make the catch, and that will retire the side. So Beret 6 up, 6 down. After an inning and a half, no score. Fred McGriff 4 for 20. A home run and 2 RBI. 14? Yeah. Pitch to McGriff. There's a fly ball, right center field. Hidalgo rides the Schwinn, 1 out. I suppose it's different for everyone who may have raised both a son and a daughter, but there comes a point, and people will tell you about this, and it just seems like the honest-to-goodness truth, where the first few years, especially in the single digits, trying to keep your son alive until he reached 10 years old might have felt like a losing battle on some days, but about 12, 13, 14, there's a switch that gets flipped, and the boy becomes a lot easier, and the girl, there's a reason why the name Hurricanes after women, okay? Rondell White is 5 for 18 on these playoffs with 2 homers and 3 RBI. There's a line drive into right center field, or left center field, for a base hit. And it doesn't help whether you were, Taylor Swift was 12? I'm not reading the rest of that, but here's Ron Coomer. Taylor Swift was 12 in 2000. How old is Taylor Swift? I thought she was, well, she survived 27. Here's Ron Coomer. Ron is 4 for 14, a home run and 10 RBI. So Rondell White, the first base hit of the game. You get to be about 16, 17, and it really doesn't matter what gender you are at that point. Your parents have an IQ of 5. You know everything that there is to possibly know. And when you move out on your own, yeah, okay, whatever. Thank you very much. Taylor Swift was born my senior year of high school, 1989. Thanks for making me feel old. Anyway, that stupidity you develop as a parent suddenly will disappear the moment the kid turns 25. But from 17 to 24 and 3/4, yeah. Anyway, Coomer, there's a base hit into right center field. Alou will grab it. Rondell White will hold at second. Alou has a good arm, and the Cubs have 2 on and 1 out for Eric Young, who is 4 for 21, 3 doubles, a home run, and 2 RBI. Now, Mrs. Bernie is going to check Bernie's search engine history and wondering why he's looking up Taylor Swift. There's a base hit left center. That's going to go all the way to the wall. White will score with ease. Coomer will round third. He's going to hold with 1 out. And Eric Young is in the second standing with a double. So 1-0. Chicago, 1 out for Todd Hundley, 5 for 20 in the playoffs with 2 RBI. They come back around. Andrew, you're right. Now your daughter, who was 14 when this game was played, has a 7-year-old of her own. It's payback time. Pitch to Hundley. Got him. So an 0-2 fastball swung on and miss. That'll bring up Beret. Jason is 1 for 3. A single, run scored, and a strikeout. Bernie says, wait till you get to be 72. All of a sudden you realize you have to do 10 season replays a year before it's too late. I'll remind my 71-year-old mother that the next time I see her. Mom, you're late on the stick. Pitch to Beret with 2 out. There's a ground ball to first. Bagwell has it. Underhands it to Reynolds, and that will end the inning. Probably should have run Coomer. Anyway, the Cubs get a run on 3 hits and no errors. After 2, 1-0 Chicago. Castilla, 6 for 22, a double, a homer, and 4 RBI. And Beret is staked to a 1-run lead here in the third. Fly ball, left field, White, 1 out. So here's Ausmus. Brad 5 for 22, hitting .227 and 2 RBI. So Bernie, in your football replays, have you ever had a 70-point game? Pitch to Ausmus. There's a line drive left field. First hit for the Astros as Gutierrez got a late leap. So that'll bring up Reynolds with one out. Shane 0 for 2 in the playoffs, a strikeout and an RBI. Coomer and McGriff in to play the bunt. And I'm not sure what the heck just happened. Hundley's running around out there. Okay. Well, your guess is as good as mine. Hundley is running towards the bullpens. Hundley has disappeared. I honestly have no idea what's just happened in the game. Throw to second. Well, that's a pass ball. That is the longest pass ball I have ever seen. And yeah, he'll try for it. A throw down to wherever. Well, maybe not. The throw from the bullpen down to second is going to be into center field for an error? Yes. Well, apparently this was not Todd Hundley's day. Don't ask me to replay that. But here's the correct call. Beret, the 0-1 to Reynolds. Gets away from Hundley. He has to go fish it off the brick. He throws down to second, and it gets into center field. So Osmus will trot to third. And so with 1-1 now count to Reynolds and the tying run on third. I jokingly asked Bernie about whether he's had 70 points in a football game. But there's an interesting thread today on Facebook's Dynasty League baseball page where a team scored 45. Okay? So that took 5 minutes for Hundley to get back in position. Reynolds strikes out. So Beret got him on a 1-2 fastball. Maybe that pass ball and error isn't going to hurt. Lugo is 0 for 1. Beret opening 9, 37 pitches, 2 2/3, a hit and 2 strikeouts. The Rangers hold the record, right? In baseball over Baltimore, that 32 or 33 they put up a few years ago, probably 20. Pitch to Lugo. Osmus goes. The runner will score because that's a single that's going to drop in front of Tucker, and the Astros have tied Game 3 at 1. So 2 out here in the third. Biggio is 0 for 1. Beret deals. Fly ball left field. White chases the wind. He will make the catch in the corner, and that will retire the side. A long inning for not that much action. A run on 2 hits and an error, both on Hundley. And after 2.5, it's 1-1. 30 runs for Texas. Okay. Michael Tucker is 0 for 1. Reynolds opening 9, 34 pitches, 2 innings, 3 hits and a strikeout. There's a ground ball to Reynolds, first base side of the rubber, 1 out. For Gutierrez, who's 0 for 1. Reynolds winds and deals, and that's a hard ground ball to short. Lugo scoops it up, throws to first, and Gutierrez is out on the bang-banger. Brings up Sammy Sosa, who's 0 for 1. There's a fly ball left field. Berkman back in the corner, and he will make the catch, and that will retire the side. Oh, no runs, no hits, and no errors. We go to the fourth here in Game 3. It's the Astros 1, the Cubs 1. So Bagwell, Berkman, and Hidalgo. Jeff is 0 for 1. Beret starts the fourth. Struck him out. He got him a chase, an 0-2 fastball. 1 out for Berkman, who's 0 for 1. My wife, by the way, tells me I get too excited calling these games. Pitch to Berkman. There's a fly ball, left center field. Tucker has it, 2 out for Hidalgo, who struck out his first time up. So Beret is pitching quite well. Struck him out, and that'll do it. So, he swung on a miss. He chased one out of the zone after 3.5. It's the Astros 1, the Cubs 1. So, to recap the series for you, Game 1, Houston took advantage of a Chicago mistake late and beat the Cubs 8-4. And then in Game 2, Sammy Sosa had a big home run. The Cubs beat the Astros 7-5. So we are split in this series after 2 games. McGriff is 0 for 1 as we start the bottom of the 4th. Reynolds starts the inning, struck him out. He got him to look at a 1-2 curve in there for strike 3. So here's Rondell White. He singled and scored in the second. He's 1 for 1. Got him. 2-2 fastball swung on and missed. So 2 out for Coomer, who singled. He's 1 for 1. Chopper to first. Bagwell will underhand it to Reynolds, and that will retire the side. Cubs go in order in the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 5th here in Game 3. 1-1. Moises Alou, Vinny Castilla, and Brett Ausmus. I think she was just giving me a hard time, Bernie. Thank you, though. We try not to, pace ourselves here. Pitch to Moises. There's a ground ball. First, McGriff will pick it up, takes it to the bag, has it for the out. So 1 away for Castilla. Vinny is 0 for 1. Struck him out. Beret got him to chase a fastball out of the zone again. So Beret kind of has the Astros on a yo-yo. Here's Ausmus. Brad singled and scored his first time up. And he strikes out. So halfway home through Game 3, a pitcher's duel. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 5th on a beautiful day here in Burlington. 1-1. Yeah, that's the thing, is that you got, most of us, do it Scully style. Probably not as much as I unintentionally do it Scully style. You got to do both. Boy, it was painfully obvious at that football game. By the way, someone said, why didn't you start Steve Young? Apparently, Midlife Crisis is a charter member of the Steve Young fan club. Just putting it out there if he watches later. Here's how he got here. You joined us late. Cubs struck first. Eric Young a double to score Rondell White to make it 1-0. And then in the 3rd, Julio Lugo singled home Brad Ausmus after a pass ball to make it 1-1. Shane Reynolds, a 3-hitter through 4. He has struck out 3. Jason Beret, a 2-hitter through 5. And he has struck out 6. Eric Young doubled home a run in the 2nd. He is 1 for 1. Reynolds starts the 5th with another base hit. That's in the right center field. Alou is there. And that should have been, is that a play by Alou? Is Young going to get 2? They throw to second. Eric Young is in there with his 5th double of the postseason. So Alou kind of lollygagged it, and Young pretty much stole second. So that's a double. Here's Hundley. He struck out his first time up. Alou having a conversation with someone out there in the stands in right field who's listening to Pat Hughes and Ron Santo on the Chicago Cubs radio network. Pitch to Hundley. Todd swings. Ground ball to Bagwell. Young will take third. And Bagwell takes it to the bag. So the go-ahead run is on third. 1 out for the pitcher. Beret is 0 for 1. They play for the bunt. Young has good speed, but I don't think you safety squeeze here. And pitch count-wise, you leave him in. This has been a well-pitched ball game. Beret hits a ground ball back to Reynolds. Young will bluff. The throw goes to first, and Jason is retired. So 18 batters deep for Shane. 69 pitches, 4 2/3, 4 hits, and 3 strikeouts. The run is earned. And Michael Tucker is 0 for 2. So Young on third, 2 out, 1-1 the score. Bottom of the 5th of Game 3. The series is tied at 1. The game is tied at 1. Line drive to Biggio, and he'll make a leaping catch to retire the side. He's shaking his hand. It's a cold night here in Chicago. It's 50 degrees. We go to the 6th in a quick game. It's 1-1. So Reynolds, Lugo, and Biggio. Pitch count-wise, Shane should stay in the ball game. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Beret starts the 6th. Hung fly ball to left, and that ball is gone. NL pitchers activate. My goodness, Shane Reynolds hit one down the line for a home run, and the Astros lead Game 3 2-1. Sometimes it's not the double play that's your best friend. It can be your bat. And that ball was gone the second he hit it. No question about it. It is thrown back on the field. And Coomer tosses it into the Astro dugout so Reynolds can have a souvenir. Yeah, wow is right. Not very often a pitcher hits a home run to begin with, and to do it in a playoff game is something special. So it's 2-1 Houston. Here's Lugo. He's 1 for 2. He has singled and driven in a run. That came in the 3rd. Beret, just one bad pitch. 76 overall through 18 batters. 5+ innings, 3 hits, the home run a moment ago, and 6 strikeouts. Got him. That's 7, an 0-2 change, and Beret just kind of put something on it. So here's Biggio, who's 0 for 2. Craig has had a base hit in every playoff game so far. The 4 against Florida for Houston, and the 2 against the Cubs. Ground ball to third. Coomer over to McGriff for the out. So Beret, 2 quick outs after the home run to Reynolds. Bagwell is 0 for 2. He has struck out once. So Beret has pitched about as well as you realistically can in a ball game. And it's the pitcher that is beating him. Bagwell strikes out. That's 8 for Beret. He got him to chase. The solo homer by Reynolds. The lone hit. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 2-1 Houston. Reynolds gave up 24 homers. He did have one in real life in 63 plate appearances. Don't ask me who that was against. He had 4 hits on the real year, 3 singles, and a home run. So that is indeed, as Andrew says, oh wow. Gutierrez is 0 for 2. Reynolds starts the 6th. Slow chopper to third. Lugo will cut it off. A long throw to Bagwell. 1 out. For Sammy Sosa, who is 0 for 2. 2 runs, 3 hits. No errors for Houston, and they've left on just 1. That's efficient. The Cubs, 1 run, 4 hits. The error, and they have left on 3. Sosa Slow ground ball to Biggio. He's almost on the grass. Throws to first. 2 out. Fred McGriff is over 2 with the strikeout. If you've missed all of Bernie's Red Sox streams, don't know if he'll do any football. Bernie, for not doing this before or having, I don't think, much aspiration to be an announcer, did quite well in his rookie campaign. Folksy, welcoming, did a good job describing the action for you and feeling like you wanted to be there, and that's all you can do. And so Bernie, although you're 72 and it was your rookie year, you really are a natural at it. McGriff, by the way, is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Reynolds deals, and Fred draws the walk. So the Cubs had the tying run on here. 2 out for White, who was 1 for 2 today. He has struck out, singled, and scored in the second. You're welcome. Ausmus and Reynolds will have a word. Yeah, Bernie stuff is great. Pitch to White. There is a ground ball to first. Bagwell will grab it. He'll take it to the bag himself. And that's all for naught for the Cubs. So Beret comes out to pitch the 7th. No runs, no hits, and no errors. Through 6 in Game 3, it's the Astros 2, the Cubs 1. Berkman is 0 for 2. Hidalgo and Alou to follow. Beret will hit Berkman. Well, we need to get into what's going on in the other series. I think that just slipped away from Jason. A fastball on a 2-1. If you were with us for the American League Championship Series, we had a bench-clearing brawl in Game 2. And in that series, we've had 7 hit batsmen. Here's Hidalgo. Richard has struck out twice. He's 0 for 2. Base hit left field. White will pick it up. Berkman bluffs and will hold. So first and second, nobody out. Beret due to bat 4th in the bottom of the inning. Here's Alou, who is 0 for 2. He could use a ground ball, Mr. Beret, right about now. Jason and Hundley have a word. They'll change around some signs. And Alou drops one down. Hundley goes to McGriff for 1. They try it. No, it's an infield single. So with the bases loaded and nobody out, Beret says, I'm not sure. And Baylor says, well, we're not going to worry about that. No one's really pitched. It's righty, righty, righty. It's Kyle Farnsworth. We got a pitching change. This game coming to you from Wrigley Field in Chicago. By the way, it is cold. It is 48 degrees now. The wind is now blowing out to left center, out towards the suburbs. Pitchers, by the way, are allowed to blow on their hand. Farnsworth did pitch in Game 1 of the series. He went a third of an inning on 5 pitches and a strikeout. He's 25. He throws that slider hard at 96 and is a fly ball pitcher. He's not worked an awful lot in either series. 2 in the third, 2 hits, a run that was earned. He's walked 2 and struck out 1. Bases loaded. And we'll play him in. Castilla is 0 for 2. Farnsworth is a strikeout machine, and that's what they need right about now. And he walks Castilla to score a run. Berkman will score. And it's 3-1. Hundley has a couple words for the home plate umpire. But Jose Feliciano said that sounded like a ball to me. So a 5-pitch at bat or plate appearance to Castilla. Here's Ausmus. They're playing in again. Ausmus 1 for 2. He has singled, struck out, and scored. It is now 3-1 Astros. Nobody out here in the 7th. Ausmus, a ground ball to Young. Eric throws home, and Hidalgo is retired. The throw down to McGriff, and Ausmus is retired. It's a double play. So it is the very rare 4-2-3 DP. And so the Cubs now 1 out away from holding this to 2. Let's see what they do with Shane Reynolds. Shane is homered. A solo shot, and that came in the 6th. He will stay in the game. Hits a ground ball to first. McGriff waits for it, underhands it to Farnsworth, and just that one run, that's it. But that is a big insurance run. Stretch time, 3-1 Stros. So they get that big insurance run. Good morning, Curtis. How are you? The Astros are now up 3-1. It'll be Coomer, Young, and Hundley, and a pinch hitter. So Farnsworth was able to induce the double play, but that's mostly thanks to Eric Young's good throw to the plate. Coomer is 1 for 2 here in Game 3. There's a liner in the center field. That's a base hit. So he is the tying run is Eric Young, who was doubled twice and drove home the lone Cubs run into second. Castilla playing in at third. We are not bunting here. Bernie says he's probably going to do some football, leading towards with 2nd and 10. Although we'll also do pro strategy football and APC. Pro strategy football really is this football streamer's dream. 2nd and 10 is of those 3 games, I think gives you the best game of football, although pro strategy football has come miles and miles and miles. Their afternoon midlife crisis on a 23-month streak. He's been doing this for 32 months. And as we said, he is the Philadelphia chairman of the Steve Young fan club. All right, Coomer on first, pitch to Young. Ground ball to Bagwell. Coomer, they're going to throw him out. Good throw to Lugo, and Julio's going to have to eat it. And so Steve Young will start Game 4 for Houston. Ron Vallone, who is not who you want to see on the mound, if you're an Astros fan, even with 1 out in the 7th, is coming in. He pitched to 3 batters in the clincher against Florida, and his line is horrible. He doesn't have an ERA this postseason. On 7 pitches, he allowed a hit, 3 runs, 2 earned, and has an ERA of infinitum. His fastball tops out at 92. He is 31, a lefty, and a standard pitcher. So Hundley, the tying run here in the 7th, is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And the throw to first, and Young is back. Hundley 5 for 22 in the playoffs. Swings, and that's into left center field. Back goes Hidalgo, way back there, and this game that's off the wall. That didn't miss by much. Young will round third. He's on his horse. It's 3-2, Houston. So Hundley, not known for his blazing speed, is in the second standing, as Todd just ripped the tar out of that one. Who can hear the lefty? Bill Miller will pinch hit. He is 3 for 9 in the playoffs with 3 singles, 2 strikeouts, and an RBI. Well, this one didn't have an Alcoa finish. You only ask because in the real game, Montana was either banged up. Now this is a Philadelphia Eagles fan talking here, not me, okay? Was either banged up from the week before or having a sniff powder withdrawal. I wonder what you could possibly mean. So Young started. Montana came in at the start of the second half. Couldn't move that football, no matter who it was. And that game had an Alcoa finish. Remember, I think that was Joe's first time back in the Meadowlands since the Giants broke his back in the playoffs in '86. So if he had a bit of the yips, I can't believe he would accuse one of the best quarterbacks of all time of having a powder withdrawal. Miller waves the bat back and forth. Just rumors. I've actually never heard that. Usually I thought that was left for defensive ends for the Giants and the Redskins. So Hundley leads off a second. Pitch to Miller. There's a fly ball to the left. Berkman will run that down by the pins. Hundley will go back, and Todd Better will not tag. So 2 out. It's a 1-run game again. It's 3-2. Here's Tucker, who was 0 for 3. Wow. Heard it this morning, of all things, from a lifelong Niners fan. Is that why they were in such a hurry to get rid of him? I mean, I understand that, Steve Young brings a whole other dimension to things, but I never understood the rush to get rid of Joe Montana. Well, it wasn't just the first baseman, Andrew. I think it was most of the team. And they went to the Smithers Clinic. Smithers. Pitch to Tucker. Michael swings, long drive right field, and the Cubs lead game 3, 4-3. Vallone, the wrong one there, and Tucker just took him deep. And the Cubs take a 4-3 lead with 2 out in the 7th inning. Kind of like the Shane Reynolds home run, just a no-doubter down the line and right. If the Astros make the World Series, Mr. Vallone will not be activated. My goodness. So the Cubs pull ahead, 2 out for Gutierrez, who's 0 for 3. And it was indeed the Pirate mascot, wasn't it? That was the supplier every time. If you go into a city and the whole thing, logistics supplied by United Airlines, fly the friendly skies. The whole thing about, where they fly people into and all that. It's not usually one of the perks you find when you go into Pittsburgh. Here's Gutierrez. He's 0 for 3. Nobody on. Gutierrez strikes out, but the damage is done. 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors. We go to the 8th in game 3. It's the Cubs 4, the Astros 3. Righty, righty, righty. So Van Poppel is in the pitch. And obviously you're going to go with Gordon in the 9th. Todd is 29. Fastball at 98. Fly ball pitcher. Pitched in game 1. 2 innings in an 8-4 loss. Excuse me. 28 pitches, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. As we now continue to talk about drug habits of old, it wasn't the parrot, but the parrot was the key. This sounds like Ghostbusters, doesn't it? His connection was Henry Hill. Okay. 3 1/3 innings, 2 walks for Van Poppel, and 5 strikeouts. Van Poppel was so highly touted, he just could never meet that demand for the A's, but he was pretty good for the Cubs in this era. Lugo 1 for 3. He has singled, struck out, and driven in a run. Oh, good fellas. Okay, good. I don't need to do the disclaimer there. But it is true that the Pirate Parrot was a key thing in the habits of certain baseball players. Pitch to Lugo. There's a ground ball of Van Poppel, and that's just an infield hit. Van Poppel, it was a comebacker. There wasn't anything he could do about it. In fact, it rolled under his glove, and so that's the second Cub error. Here's Biggio, 0 for 3. Now, I believe, I'm working from memory here, that this is true. And we had the strike in 85 that lasted 2 days because they had known it was going to be the strike date, and the owners and players never got along, that the judge in the case in Pittsburgh scheduled the hearings for that cocaine trafficking to coincide with the strike, so the players weren't on vacation. They were in court in Pittsburgh. Pitch to Biggio is a ground ball to first. McGriff, what's he going to do? He's going to go to take it to the bag himself, and Biggio is safe. He had Van Poppel there. He did flip it to Van Poppel, but he waited a beat too long. And so it's Lugo on second, Biggio on first. There's still nobody out. Van Poppel's thrown 8 pitches, and both runners have reached. Bad fielding by Van Poppel on the first, and Biggio just not getting it out of his glove. Here's Bagwell. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Fly ball, left field. That's taking the wind out there, and White will turn and watch it go on to Waveland. A 3-run homer. Van Poppel hasn't retired anybody, and it's now 6-4 Houston. Bagwell just turned and just absolutely crushed that one. He didn't need the help of that jet stream out to left center, but he got it. And that's out into Kong territory. My goodness. So is Houston going to get away with Valone? So here's Berkman. Lance is 0 for 2 with a run scored. Pitch from Van Poppel. Fly ball, left field. This should stay in the yard. Maybe. Back goes White. Rondell. That's off the wall. Berkman's into second. And here's Hidalgo, who's 1 for 3. He has singled and struck out twice. So the Astros have a 3 spot on the board here in the 8th at 6-4. Gets him. A 1-2 fastball at 97. And finally, Van Poppel establishes an ERA. 1 out for Alou. Moises 1 for 3. Hundley goes out to calm him down. Struck him out. A full count fastball outside on the black at 98. For Castilla, it'll be Sosa, McGriff, and White. Cubs thought they were going to get an edge in this one. Pitch, and Merced is going to pinch hit. So Orlando Merced, 2 for 4 in the playoffs with a walk. Van Poppel is kind of shell-shocked after the 3-run shot by Bagwell. Pitch to Merced. There goes Berkman. High fly ball. Right field. Way back there and gone. Oh, my goodness. Merced just broke Chicago. My goodness, Merced just smashed that one in for Van Poppel. He just takes a slow walk to the dugout as Don Baylor takes the ball out of his hands. It is now 8-4. Except for go Astros, says the Rangers fan. Don't think you can get away with that now. So who hasn't pitched for a while? Well, you might as well bring in Tavares, who hasn't pitched in this postseason at all. The Cubs haven't needed to use a fifth starter. Now, the Pen, 28 years old, fastball at 90 and a ground ball pitcher. 10-9 on the real year with a 4.52 ERA. 161 in the third innings, 172 hits, 13 homers. He's walked 69 and struck out 107. And his job is to get 4 outs. Brad Ausmus is 1 for 3. He has singled, scored, grunted into a double play, and struck out. It'll be Kevin Tapani be the starter in Game 4, you would think. Ground ball to Gutierrez. Ricky has it, throws across the way for the out, but that was huge for Houston. Jeff Bagwell, a 3-run blast. And then Merced, who's going to stay in the game as a third baseman, although he can't play third, with a 2-run homer. The Astros 5 runs, 4 hits, the error by Van Poppel, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 8-4 Houston. So what was a pitcher's duel has opened right up. 8 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Astros. They've left on 3. 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for the Cubs. They've left on 4. Sammy is 0 for 3, and Valone stays in the game. Why? I don't know. Ground ball, left side, base hit. Sosa takes a long turn around first. That's the 8th hit for the Cubs. And here's McGriff. Fred has walked, struck out, and is 0 for 2. Never know what we're going to talk about in these games. Mid-80s drug trials. Didn't have that one on the bingo card. Pitch to McGriff. Ball 4. All right. Are you going to pull Valone or am I? You got 9,000 pitchers. We are not doing that. Dotel will try to hold this to a 4-run lead. He's had a very good postseason. This is his 6th appearance, 25 years old, fastball at 98. He's pitched in both of the LCS games. An inning and 2/3, a hit, a run. It was not earned. He has walked 2 and struck out 4. Against the Marlins, he pitched in 4 of the 5 games. 3 1/3 there for 4 hits. Walked 3 and struck out 5. So 5 innings overall, 5 hits, an unearned run, 5 walks, and 9 strikeouts. And we are obviously trying to set it up for Billy Wagner in the 9th. White is 1 for 3. Rondell has struck out, singled, and scored in the 2nd. 1st and 2nd, fly ball left field. Berkman coming in, makes the catch for the out. I have a feeling that Mr. Valone's about to have a hangnail. Here's Ron Coomer. Ron is 2 for 3. He has singled twice. Here in Game 3. Pitch to Coomer. Struck him out. So 2 up and 2 down for Dotel. An 0-2 fastball swung on and missed. How you doing, Steve Tate? Eric Young has doubled twice. He is 2 for 3. Drove in a run in the 7th and scored. Dotel kicks and fires, and that is laced into left field in front of Berkman. Sosa keeps on a chugging. Berkman will do what? What are we going to do here? score. So the throw goes into third, and it's 8-5. And Todd Hundley, who doubled his last time up, is now the tying run. Pinch hitter spot on deck because Tavares, now in a ball game, certainly wouldn't hit. Got him. And that'll do it. But the Cubs at least will make the ninth interesting. A run on 2 hits and no errors. And Ron Vallone heads to the Harry Carey Budweiser truck. After 8 here at Wrigley Field, it's the Astros 8, the Cubs 5. So Tavares to face the pitcher's spot, Lugo and Biggio, and Darrell Ward will pinch hit. So Dotel has done his job. Ward 1 for 4 in the playoffs, a single, an RBI. Tavares trying to hold us to a 3-run lead. Ward strikes out. A full count fastball swung on and missed. Here's Lugo. Julio is 1 for 4. Has an RBI, a single, a run scored, and a strikeout. In the right center, Tucker, 2 out. Don't forget, tomorrow's is a night game, 8:30 Eastern. For Game 3 between the Fightin' Mariners and the Fightin' Athletics. And that series is tied at 1 as we shift to Oakland. Biggio is 1 for 4. Craig has singled and scored. Tavares deals. Base hit left field. White will pick it up. Excuse me. For Bagwell, whose 3-run homer in the 8th put the Astros up 6-4. He now has 2 homers in the postseason and has driven in 5. Tavares' pitch struck him out. That'll do it. And so here comes Billy Wagner. Big moment in this series because Wagner should be slamming the door. We'll give you Billy's numbers first. This is his 4th appearance. He last pitched game number 2. It was a non-save situation. He struck out 2 on 18 pitches. So 3 innings for Billy. The lefty's allowed 2 hits, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. And it will be Miguel Cairo to pinch hit. This is his first playoff appearance. 285 on the real year, 2 homers and 9 RBI. 8-5 Astros here in the 9th. Chicago 3 to tie, 4 to win. Ground ball to third. Merced, who's not a third baseman, throws to first. 1 out. For Tucker, who is 1 for 4, he can hit lefties. He'll stay in the ball game. That 1 hit, the big 2-run homer in the 7th, which put the Cubs up 4-3. Wagner, on a 45-degree evening, takes a very deep breath. Struck him out, and it's last chance saloon time for the Cubs in Game 3. A 1-2 curve that broke at the belt for strike 3. So here's Gutierrez. Ricky is 0 for 4 with a strikeout. 2-1 really isn't going to hurt too many people here, but the Cubs, especially after they got up 6-3 or 5-3, whatever it was. Let's do some math. 4-3. Thought they had a real chance in this one. Gutierrez, line drive to Lugo, and the Astros lead are halfway to the World Series. They win this one 8-5. So 3 hours and 43 minutes of fake baseball. Houston 8 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. They left on 4. So efficient. The Cubs 5 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors, and they left on 6. The game gives the MVP to Shane Reynolds, And I think we should as well. Actually, we should as well, because he hits the home run. He doesn't get a decision. 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 1 and struck out 3. Dotel and Wagner did yeoman's work after Vallone nearly pooped the bed. Jason Beret, 6 innings in the no decision, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, a homer, and he struck out 8. Van Poppel was Van Poopel, and then Tavares came in to clean it up. All right, so we'll talk to you tomorrow night, 8:30, Game 3 between the Mariners and the Athletics from Oakland. Until then, have yourself a wonderful day, everybody. So long.